Good afternoon. I'm John B. Toomey Jr. I'm your host today for our continuing series of CVC interviews. Today, I'm pleased to have with us our Bolton's Senior Citizens and Community Services Director, Carrie Cantanelli, and Michelle Puzo, who's with the Your Community Cares. Carrie, you started for years. You've been having a lot of teenagers and other people going around to senior citizens' homes and getting people's chores done. With COVID, I suspect that hasn't been quite as easy a task to accomplish. How did you get to the point of moving beyond just the community?
Well, you're right. We did have the Senior Needs Assistance Program, which we like to call the CHORE program, for many years in Bolton, which was through a grant through the North Central Area Agency on Aging. And the goal was to connect. We had teenage employees between the ages of 15 and 18 who would be connected with seniors living in town of Bolton for various chores inside or outside of the house. And we had had that program for a very long time. At the start of the pandemic, we did put the program on hold because of really wanting to make sure everybody was safe.
Yeah.
So that was what we did have as an existing program, but we were kind of looking to change it a little bit, to really improve it. The model that we had wasn't quite working as much as we wanted it to, because there are a lot more seniors in town than there are students available. So we were kind of looking to really revamp the program, and we're considering other options of what might work for the residents of Bolton, and that's when we learned about Your Community Cares as a local nonprofit based right in Manchester.
And what were your goals in hiring a nonprofit?
Well, part of it was that it's a lot about connection, and as I'm sure Michelle will talk about, their platform is an online platform, so it's a way to connect people throughout the community in this area, and just an infrastructure that we didn't have available to us. So they had a really great system already in place statewide, so that was what we were interested in partnering with them for.
Oh, that's good to be able to use nicer resources like that. Michelle, how did you come up with the idea of doing this kind of thing?
Well, I'm a physical therapist by day, so I saw the needs of the community, my patients that really needed more help. And I thought, what if they could get connected to their neighbors, the people that could help them? And so that's when we decided to go with a virtual platform or software that basically connects communities, that local residents can be connected to volunteers.
Oh, okay. So is that part of your background on how to get to that point?
Yeah, I've used my 20 plus years of doing physical therapy and have applied it to make sure that we're a resource, an advocate, and sort of like the yellow pages for those people that are in need, that are living at home and really need help.
Yeah. So people are going to find your company by either going online or calling the senior center, because I'm sure a goodly percentage of our seniors don't use a computer. I'm sure that's going to diminish as time goes on, but how are we going to, you're still going to provide a resource to say, hey, let's get in touch with Michelle and her Your Community Cares organization. Is that what you're planning on doing?
Yep, we do have that in place because we don't want technology to be any kind of barrier for people who would like to participate as community members. So what we have set up with Your Community Cares is, because we are community partners, the staff at the senior center is able to work with whoever would like to participate and get them into the system and put their request for community deeds into the system, and just let them know by telephone that everything is ready to go forward. So they can do that from the comfort of their home, right over the phone, working with our staff. So that way, if it is an issue, some people in town don't have computers, so we certainly still would like them to be connected
just pick up
and
a phone.
be able to participate.
Oh, good. That's good. And I'm sure you've already trained your staff on how to use the platform. So that's a good thing. In the past, what kind of requests were you getting? I know I'm just a couple of years away from being eligible to do this myself, but I know people have done like lawn raking, and I've seen kids, helping with chores like that and shoveling. What else do you hope that they can offer citizens of Bolton?
Well, they have a pretty extensive list of possible community deeds, which could be a really small thing, like help with watering plants. It could be something around the yard, especially this time of year. There's always something seasonal going on,
Yep.
spring cleanups, etc.
Right.
But it could be a small household task as well.
Like
So it could be a little bit of
faucets?
help with laundry or housekeeping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it could be companionship. Many people are
even just
still
that. Oh.
home and lonely. They're either widowed or have less family.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a lot of people that want some companionship.
Okay.
And also, the volunteers don't do any personal care or licensed work. So it wouldn't be plumbers, it's not any licensed work. We want to keep that
Oh.
to the professionals.
Oh, okay.
So it's household tasks that
Oh,
are
so it's-
difficult to do, like laundry, cleaning up. Due to mobility issues, it's very difficult sometimes to be able to live in your own home to 80, 90, 100, which many
A lot
people
of
are
people-
living
sure,
longer and
sure.
longer, which is great. But it does become challenging to maintain your home when you do have mobility issues,
Yeah.
sight issues. It
Yeah.
can be a variety of reasons that people are disabled
Okay.
in any way.
So it's not home health aid? and
No.
No plumbers, no electricians,
Right.
carpenters?
These are everyday people that can drive you to a doctor's appointment,
Oh.
or so transportation, household tasks, yard work, and companionship. Those are the 4 categories that the community member can call Carrie's office, and they can say, on Friday or Saturday, I'd like a volunteer to come out and do some yard work. Then Carrie will put that into the system, and when a volunteer accepts it, Carrie will get notified and call that community member and let them know what
Yeah,
time
yeah.
the person is coming.
Now, in these times of COVID, are all of the folks that you send out, have they been tested for the virus, and have they been vaccinated?
We are not asking, that's not a requirement. We're asking them to follow the COVID-19 protocols, which is the 6 feet apart and wearing masks. But we are a statewide organization. We're 100% volunteer based, so we have no staff. So we aren't able at this time to set those types of parameters in place.
Okay, so they're volunteers, and we've been having volunteers. Are these volunteers just volunteering, or are they being paid?
No,
They're just
no pay.
volunteering?
Yep, just volunteering. People that want to do good in the
Oh, good.
community,
Oh, good.
that have time to,
Mm-hmm.
give back in their community and really want to help their
Okay.
neighbors.
Okay. Is there any vetting process? The world has changed. When I was a boy here in town, we left the doors unlocked.
Yeah.
Those times are gone. Do you go through any security clearance or any type of vetting of these volunteers?
All the volunteers and all the participants on the platform are background checked. So we do a 7-year history on all participants. That's community members, they might have just moved to town, and also the volunteers. So everyone has a background check, and then if they're a transportation volunteer, they'll have a driving history
Good.
check as well. And we are fully insured.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's good. Regarding the background checks, who does the background? I mean, is it the state police?
It's a third party called Absolute Background Search.
Who are they?
They're a background check company.
Okay. Where are they out of someplace?
They're out of
local?
Florida.
Florida.
Yep.
Okay. So the police aren't, you're not contacting the FBI or anything like that to see about these people? You're trusting on somebody out of state?
It's a background check company, so they do a 7-year history on everybody, just
Okay.
like the police would do. Yep.
Okay, so they have they have access to the same resources
Yeah.
that the police would? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
We're also part of the Connecticut VOAD, which is the Volunteer After Disaster organization in Connecticut. So they, everybody uses an online platform for doing background checks.
Oh, okay.
That's standard.
Okay. So if we're having people assuming that there are people in town or helping other people in town, what do you see the benefits of the volunteers? The benefits for your company?
Well,
Your nonprofit.
yeah,
You are a nonprofit, I'm sorry, I
Yes.
forgot to ask that.
yes, we are a nonprofit, 501c3.
501c3.
Yep.
Good.
So the benefits to Bolton residents is that they're improved community connections, the ability to connect to your neighbors that you might not know need help. You might want to give back in some way, but you don't want to have to make it Saturday from 8 to 12. You want to do it on your schedule. So it really allows the volunteers to pick and choose the times that are convenient because of our innovative technology, the software of yourcommunitycares.org, which is our website.
Okay. Your Community Cares, tell us about how you named it, because it makes sense. I mean, and to read it, it's like Your Community Cares, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you're emphasizing your.
Yes, we wanted you to feel like you are part of your own community. And that's why instead of putting the YOUR, everybody is doing, talk texting and, trying to simplify everything
Sure.
nowadays. So we wanted to make it a little bit different and make sure people felt like they were giving an impact and could make a difference in their own community.
Oh, good. That's very good. What do you think would help people? How would you increase the participation here in town? Do you have some strategies to either communications or online or websites or Facebook or anything else?
Yeah, I think
Newspapers,
Carrie's put it
TV?
in the.
Well, TV, here we are.
Right. Yeah, we launched our partnership back on April 1st, thinking, the beginning of the spring, like we said, it's a great time to get outside and do some of these chores around the yard, especially. So at the time, we notified anyone who had participated in the program within the past 2 years because we thought they were likely to be interested. And we also put it in a lot of our newsletters through the Senior Center and through the town bulletin to let people know that this was available, both for community members to participate, which we've had quite a lot of interest so far. We've really had a great
good.
turnout.
Oh, good.
But also because we know there are a lot of groups in town who like to volunteer. I mean, as you know, John,
Sure.
this town is incredible. It's very generous, all our residents. And we have quite a lot of groups that some haven't necessarily been able to meet as often recently, but in town we are really lucky to have between the religious groups, the civic organizations, we have scouting, we have, all sorts of even athletic groups. We have all sorts of people in town that are wanting to get out there and help their neighbors.
Sure.
And this kind of gives them the ability, like Michelle said, to kind of go according to their schedule of when it might work to go and help someone for an hour here or there.
Yeah.
Could really make a big difference for a neighbor that could be down the street from them.
Yeah.
So it's something that's very local, easy to get connected with.
Yeah.
So we did reach out to a lot of those groups, and I'm hoping, as they have a little more time over the summer and get together more, that as conditions keep improving, that we'll have more opportunities for people who would like to do as individuals or families or groups of people, that they can kind of come together and help the community, because it really is a two-way street in that sense, that it's a benefit for both parties involved. And there's definitely a huge sense of community service in our town, and that's something that I really appreciate about Bolton.
Yeah. Good.
As a newer resident to the town, of course, than most of you guys, like yourself. But I love living and working here, and that's one of the reasons, because there is a great sense of community here.
Yeah. And this is so much more than just doing everything on Zoom that we've been doing for the last 14, 15 months.
Absolutely, especially if you can get some fresh air. Why not?
Yeah, that too. Zoom is great because you can see all your friends, even though everybody's this big, but, so we haven't lost touch.
Right.
But I think this will help make it more personal, and if they're going in safely into people's homes. And what's the minimum time, Frank? Can they help for just 15 minutes, or do you kind of like want to do it for at least an hour, or?
Well, it's really
I don't
up to
expect
what.
all day, but.
Yeah, it's whatever the community member drives the visits. So the community member puts in the task. So whether it's watering the plants or whether it's dropping off food from the food pantry, it's based on the
need.
the need of the community member.
Oh, okay.
So we've customized it so that the system puts in an hour, but it could be as little or more than an hour based on the community member's needs.
Okay.
We really want the community member to continue to use the system, not just have a one-time visit. We want them to continue to use the system and connect with their neighbors and really build those relationships so that if they had an upcoming surgery or they needed a ride for voting or the vaccine, there's a lot of different
Sure.
ways that people can help.
Oh, that's good.
We can give you an example of
Yeah, that's good.
someone who recently participated needed some help with picking up twigs in their yard, in their backyard.
Yeah.
So that was an example of a volunteer accepted the request. They came out there, and I think they probably only took about an hour, but it was something of great use to her to gather everything in one spot. And sometimes they're very unique requests. We recently had someone that was interested in going for a walk in a park with someone.
Oh,
So that's a great example of a companionship type of task that's what they're really looking for, is being able to go out and enjoy
Yeah.
one of our local parks
yeah.
around here. And so that's something that it may not be a lot of physical labor. It could be something as simple as that you're just spending time together, and that's what that person was really looking for.
Have you, when do we expect to start doing this? Is this?
We started in April.
Oh, you've been doing this? Where have I been? How about that? I know I've seen it in the, like she said, the Bolton Community News. I've seen it on the town's bulletin that comes out every so often by email. I got an email from you, and it appeared to be a general email to people in town.
Well, we've created a system of really connecting to those people on what we consider the stakeholders of the town that we feel can help us get better connected to volunteers that can help, and also refer those community members, sign up those community members. So if you had a sister or brother that wasn't computer savvy or didn't have the internet, you can enroll someone on their behalf and run their profile for them. If you wanted to. We have someone in the town of Bolton, her daughter from California is running her account for her. So there's a lot of different ways that people are getting connected if your family wants to get involved too. It's not just all through Carrie's department.
Do you anticipate things will pick up once COVID is eventually, I'm not made insignificant, but turns downward so that we're not all having to have restrictions? And I don't know, do you think that the need would increase or decrease once things change?
I think the pandemic has shown that virtual connections are the future. People don't feel as comfortable leaving their homes, and it's really hard to know when that comfort level will be there for a lot of the aging adults that they've become a lot weaker since being home over the last 12 to 15 months.
Physically, you mean?
Physically, yeah.
Yeah.
And that leads to that insecurity when they're leaving the house. And so wanting to have a companion or someone going to a park with them so they can build up their strength again.
Right.
Because unfortunately they've been sitting and watching TV a lot more than they ever used to. And hopefully once the senior center is open and they can be out,
healthy for everyone.
they'll be happy.
Most tasks around the house don't really go away, and
That's true.
many people have lived in their homes in Bolton for many decades. We have a lot of residents who have lived here, some as many as 50 or 60 years, and absolutely love it here. This is their home. So they want to be able to stay in their home, but to be able to have a little bit of help here and there can make it a lot more, a lot easier to really feel like you're feeling good in your home, and then can go and enjoy yourself because you're not worried about a task kind of hanging over your head.
Good. Have you gotten any odd requests for help? I mean, aside from lawn raking and watering plants and laundry, things like that. Anything bizarre come up?
Not so far, I don't think so, but sometimes occasionally someone's needing something that's maybe a little bit out of the scope of the program. It's like Michelle said, that it's not really meant to be a skilled provider, that if it requires, sometimes there's certain equipment that's needed and involved, or a licensed professional. So in those cases, we sometimes work with people about, in the event that they need something like that, we do have our financial assistance program in town. So sometimes people
Oh,
have
right.
looked into, if they're needing something like that and it's a financial hardship, then they can talk with me separately about what we can do for them if that's the level of need they have around the house. But this is meant to be more for kind of those occasional tasks, but there's certainly an opportunity if you meet a volunteer and hit it off, that the next time you request the same person again or have something on more of a regular basis. So
Good.
it could be a one-time thing, it could be several times. So it does have a little bit of flexibility there.
Oh, good. Michelle, how long have you been doing this, and how many towns do you help citizens in?
The website launched in June of 2019, just before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then we have participants in over 100 towns across Connecticut.
Oh.
And we're hoping to be a resource for all the towns in Connecticut with more outreach. And this is great, so thank you very much, Carrie, for using our platform to connect your older adults to people that can really help them.
Did you help design the platform itself?
Yep, and we worked with the web developer.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, good. Oh, good.
And we're constantly updating our website, so it will be with a lot more new features in the next month or so.
Oh.
So that'll be exciting.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add before we have to leave?
No, well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
How about you? Anything from the town's perspective?
No, we're just happy to be here, and thanks for talking with us, John.
No, I'm always happy to do this. Well, we're pretty much set for today. I'm so glad that you all could join the show, and here's to CVC for helping us one more time.